TLO, what's poppin'? We are on Twitch. We're not live, but you can leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on your post notification bells. Let's continue to grow the family from Chicago to the UK, man. Right behind me, you see it, little warning screen. I ain't, it's there. Twitch.com is where you can catch a live stream. Usernames at the bottom of the screen. We also got Patreon Monday through Sunday. You see it, Patreon Monday through Sunday. That's all our Premier League highlights, UK TV shows, UK movies. Link to all my profile, all my social medias is down below. This is Wesley Winters. It's called Trans Emergency. What is a woman? UK edition.
Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. No copyright infringement intended. All rights belong to their respective owners.
I want to start off by saying shout out to the community. Shout out to one of my cousins, his name Anthony. He was the first person I ever seen that was a male that dressed like a woman. And he could fight. He was knocking dudes out still. It was outstandingly crazy to me. It was diabolical. But shout out. Talk to me. Whoa.
I plan to piss wherever I want, which is the women's bathroom, and I will continue to.
We're kind of all legally gay men again. Isn't that crazy?
The UK has ruled what a woman is, after For Women Scotland won a legal battle that went all the way to the Supreme Court. It was unanimously decided that the word woman refers to biological sex, meaning women-only spaces must remain female-only.
See, I really be in my own world. When it comes to this type of stuff, I don't care. I didn't know we had to go to the Supreme Court or whatever the highest court is to figure out things of that nature.
Decision sparked emergency protests across the country as trans rights activists say their rights are now under threat. So I went to find out why, but more importantly, what is a woman?
I'm watching pregnant children be called women.
I hate being perceived as a man.
We love women so much we want to be one. You can't say more than that.
When does it come a point to say I am a woman? Hi guys, I see behind.
Let me fix my face.
Behind me, there's a lot of trans rights activists out today. They've got their trans flags, their signs. We have always existed. So
let me just. It ain't nothing that. It ain't nothing that this particular letter in the community does. I think it's other people. The only thing that rubbed me wrong is when they try to compare their fight to the black fight. You know what I'm saying? The historical black fight. And I'm talking about America. I don't know what's going on in the UK. But I just don't like that. But come on, educate me.
It's going to be quite a big protest today after the court ruled.
But I don't know if they do that. For sure, other people be doing that on their behalf. And I want to point that out. I don't know if they're doing it or other people are doing it on behalf of them.
Woman means woman. Who would have thought? But apparently a lot of
Hey Wesley, chill.
people aren't too happy about that, and that's why there's such a big crowd here today in London. Check it out. So we've got a lot of people turning out today. Why do you reckon most people are here?
To raise awareness for transgender visibility and to fight for our freedoms, to be acknowledged as the women that we are today.
Why do you believe? If you're not being acknowledged, and what is a woman to you?
A woman is a woman who embodies femininity, who embodies strength, resilience to fascist and sexist misogyny, and that's
Sexist and
exactly what we stand for as a trans community. What was your other question?
Why are you both here today?
Trans rights have been taken away from us, but not only that, women's rights have also been eroded by all this.
What are the rights in question? Can you vote? Can you vote? Can you use the same water fountain? Not because what particular rights is there that have been taken away? I'm confused.
Well, they've said that
Because I'm uneducated. This is a particular subsection of life that I do not. It doesn't have anything to do with me, so I don't know anything. I'm coming in here blind. Educate me, Wesley.
this was for women's rights. Why do you think that trans rights are being eroded because of the new law, or the clarification in the law?
Clarification in the law allows cisgendered men to go into women's bathrooms unaccosted and say that they're trans men, and they can do what the hell they like in there.
Just so everyone knows, what is a cis man?
A cis man is someone that's identified as male at birth. That's not necessarily anything to do with his chromosomes, it's just his outward genitalia.
So his sex is male?
Yeah, but if somebody identifies as male and they were identified as male at birth, that's a cis man.
Does it bother you that trans women aren't
I got a headache. We're 2 minutes and 31 seconds in, and my head hurts. No, I'm not trying to be funny. Like, this is confusing. A cis man is a man, a regular male.
allowed in women's spaces anymore, specifically women's bathrooms?
Yeah, it does.
That trans women aren't allowed in women's spaces anymore, specifically women's bathrooms?
Yeah, it does. It's made my life more dangerous, and everybody else's life here more dangerous.
In what way?
If you see most of the trans men that are here, they've all got beards.
Right.
A lot of them are hench. They all take testosterone. They go to gyms. They'll go into a woman's bathroom, and as far as they're concerned, the husband will see a bloke with a big hairy bloke go into a woman's bathroom and go in there after him.
Right. So yours is kind of the flip side argument that trans men.
Oh, okay. So if you're a woman trying to look like, if you're a woman, you gotta word stuff correctly. If it goes for the opposite side as well. Cause see, when I see trans, literally the only thing I seen until this incident, all I seen was this. I'm not even thinking about the opposite side of the spectrum, but 100%. Now I agree. Now in that aspect of it, oh yeah. Yeah. That now, that's a slippery slope. That is a slippery slope. Okay, I agree with that.
Men are now allowed in.
They are definitely in a between a rock and a hard place with that one.
Women's spaces, but they are biologically female, right?
Nobody's talking about this. Absolutely nobody's talking about the fact that trans men exist. Trans men are just as vulnerable as
Yeah, see, I just told y'all, I wasn't even thinking about that. When I hear that, this right here is all I think about. It's not even coming to mind like, oh yeah, there are women that want to be men who have changed X, Y, and Z, and now they have to go to female. Yeah. I understand.
trans women. It's all about trans women. You need to flip it. And women's rights have been eroded by JK Rowling.
This person is correct.
First time
I didn't think
a
about
woman gets accosted or hurt in a woman's space is down to JK Rowling and her little hit mob. So, well done, JK.
JK Rowling? That's the book person?
You've absolutely screwed it for all women.
So I see you're signed JK Rowling with the Nazis. What's the kind of beef with JK Rowling?
She's a TERF and she has been reported hanging out with neo-Nazis.
Okay.
And she is, well, basically making life difficult for a lot of trans people, everyone that's trans.
A lot of the confusion might be is that people may not understand what it means to be trans. So what do you think is the reason for people to become a trans woman or a trans man? As complex as it might be, if you were going to sum it up to some extent.
Like me. Sum it up to me.
At the end of the day, we just feel like we're in the wrong body when we get born. Myself included, I felt I was in the wrong body. I now feel much more euphoric in being a woman, and at the end of the day, that's what being trans is.
What would you say is the most important issue maybe facing trans people?
Safety. Like, I think it shouldn't be hard for us to go out and about and have to worry about, being not allowed to do something or being attacked. But I'm afraid to travel through airports, which I do all the time now. Because apparently now you have to be searched by the gender person that you were born as. Like, that's so crazy and so unnecessary.
Right, so just to clarify, are you a biological man but you identify as a trans woman?
Yeah.
Okay, so
That is shocking. This is crazy. That is crazy.
how does you feel getting searched by a man? Why would that be any different to, say, a woman searching you? Or
Well, I mean, I've been trans for 7 years now. I've always been searched by women. It's like kind of going backwards and subjecting myself to like sexual harassment almost. Like, I mean, I know that they follow protocols and whatever, but it's just.
This is professional. So, would it make a difference if there was a trans employee doing it then? But is that a part of the fight as well? Do y'all want y'all own little like thing then? Like, would that be satisfactory? I think it'd just that'd be changing a lot, wouldn't it?
It's gross. Like, you wouldn't ask a born girl to do that. I don't know why we're being asked to do that.
the flip side
Oh, never mind.
of the argument is that now biological men, trans women, can't strip search women. Do you think that's a positive thing for women?
Wait, sorry, say that again.
So now the law also is the flip side. So biological men, so trans women, can't strip search female women.
Right.
Do you think that's a good thing?
I didn't know that was a massive issue. Like, how big is this issue really? Like, how many trans women work in airports?
Yeah.
Like, there's just not that many trans people in theory.
Right. And you can also argue how.
Well, it seems like there's a need. And is there any want for that job position to be filled? Whatever airport whatever that airline come out with that, boom.
How many females are criminals that they do need to be strip searched, but at the same time, when it comes down to it, they might want to be searched by a man, not less than
it's such a minute issue. Like, it's really not as big as people make it be. Like, trans people make up such a small percent of the population. It's just something that is a hot topic right now. But like, I've never met any trans person that's ever been dangerous or uncomfortable. Like, it's just a tactic.
Well, the argument is that, women's space should be kept women only for the safety of women. Do you not think that having trans women in women's spaces excluding them from women's spaces is protecting them at all?
No.
You know what though? There's a lot of I understand why this law went into play, because there are a lot of people, just unhinged people, that just walk around with a wig on and say, yeah, I'm X, Y, and Z, I'm going in this bathroom, just to be peeping Toms that are not actually trans and do that. That is a thing.
No, it's a right-wing dog whistle. I've been in women's bathrooms, I've been invited to parties, I've had drinks bought for me, I've been invited out. I have never had any hassle. I've never even been argued with in a women's bathroom. Right-wing media that are promoting this thing that trans women are a danger to women, and we're not.
We love women so much we want to be one. You can't say more than that. I don't want to be a man, so I become trans.
Well, some people argue about what is a woman. So what is a woman to you guys?
That's is a gotcha question. So
I'm just curious.
No, I'm not answering that. No, okay. That's a gotcha question.
A woman is who she thinks she is, and that's all there is to it. There are There are women that want to be men, and there are men that want to be women. So you can't say what is a woman, because that is the individual person's ideology of what a woman is. And I want to be the best woman I can be.
We don't all look like the stereotypical image. We have very masculine looking women who are cis, and they're going to be questioned going into bathrooms and things, and it's not going to be, it's going to affect all women.
Wait, so when you say cis women, they can also be biological men? Is that your argument? Or
No. If just a cis woman who maybe has hormonal imbalance, facial hair.
Okay,
looks,
but is
or heavily like in the gym, working out, strong. You know, you got to think about what women that do bodybuilding. They're going to be severely affecting. Like big weights, not like a bikini or. No, I mean like real bodybuilding.
Biologically
female, yeah.
Would they want to be in a female space?
Yeah, because they're women.
That's fine then, no?
Yeah, but they will.
But what she's saying is they'll get questioned. But will there be a bathroom security everywhere or something?
Get stopped. People will stop them if they are not fitting that norm.
Okay.
And if they look, it's already happening.
People make that argument for like butch lesbian.
I'm not gonna lie. When I take my daughter to the bathroom, can't nobody come in there. Whatever bathroom it is, and places with no family bathroom really make me mad. Like, what I'm supposed to do? Why make a family bathroom? I'm a dad with a daughter. Now y'all like make a family. Every time I go somewhere and then in a family bathroom, I'm crashing out. I'm crashing out, 100%.
And things like that, but
absolutely. That's what I mean. It's so, any woman.
Got nothing to do with this, by the way. But just make a family bathroom everywhere. Tired of this.
Going in, if you look slightly masculine, you're gonna. This whole ruling is opening it up that anyone can be stopped.
I think that.
Okay, I understand her point.
Half the time it is like common sense though, like to identify a woman. Like I think I'd get like 99% correct.
Nah. If I gotta think twice, if I even question the thought process of what I'm thinking, you gotta just imagine. Just put your like as a man. Like if we see a strong jawline, we get to question and stuff. 100%. Yes or no? So I'm not. I ain't gonna say that was. I ain't 99. I'm about 70.
Over here.
No, it doesn't make any difference. If a trans woman, a trans woman is a woman, and if they want to use the toilet, then they're going to go into a cubicle, have a wee, come out, wash their hands, and go home. That's what the.
What's the kind of argument then why trans women couldn't go into a male bathroom or male space?
Have you seen trans women?
Yeah.
So, why would you want somebody that looks very feminine going into a man's bathroom? It doesn't make sense.
I don't think a man would care. If I'm being 100%, if a T woman came into a male bathroom, I'd look and continue on with what I got going on. Like it wouldn't even faze me. For some, like I get it that they like men, or some of them like I don't even know. But like it wouldn't faze me. Like I'd be like, oh, I understand why you're in here. That's how I would feel about this situation. Carry on.
That's what doesn't make sense.
But they're biologically men, no?
Makes
West.
No.
Do you think it will be difficult to police and enforce?
Chill.
Right, can you imagine there are butch lesbians out there that are now going to be accosted in toilets by other women saying, we want to check your genitalia?
There's only one way to police it, a hand down the bloody front. How else can you do it? You can't...
A wedgie?
You can't assume that that's a woman because they got tits, because I've got tits. So the only way to prove it is a hand down the front. Is it lumpy or is it smooth? End of.
At the end of the day, I just think maybe we should just have unisex toilets and be done with, because we don't need exclusively female spaces or exclusively male spaces anyway.
And that's where you're wrong. You don't need exclusively male. Like, I don't care. But if I have a son, but also there should be a family bathroom. But that means if there's a unisex, like, anybody should be able to walk in there then? See, it's too confusing for a straight mind. My mind is miscombobulated at this time, and I'm going to just press play.
Okay, but there's a reason why there's, male sports, female sports,
Okay, what's
doctors.
that reason then?
Well,
strength. Genetics are different between men and women. Men. All right.
Sports in particular, like just the same reason why men are typically faster, stronger than women.
Are they now?
Yes. Typically, yes. Now, if there's a woman that is training all her life to be a sprinter, then against the average Joe, no, of course, the woman is going to be faster. But, like, on average, at about the age of, 8, you could see the separation between man and woman in speed. Just in, like, speed and strength. I'm not talking about anything else. Speed and strength. It's because the muscular, however you word it, the muscles are made different.
No, that's just your perception.
Okay, so
ma'am, I can bench press you and your friend. You can't bench press me.
let's say, for example, tennis. If Serena Williams faced like Rafa Nadal, who do you reckon would win?
Serena, of course.
That's cap. That is cap. That is cap. Wasn't there like an experiment? Was it? There's first and foremost, there are in tennis, there's like male female versus male female.
That's just being biased.
She's trolling.
On the day.
Okay.
That absolutely depends on the day. Serena Williams, Venus Williams could absolutely obliterate any male tennis player on the right day. Just because
Sam Groff has 137 max mile per hour serve. Serena's max was 128. Just off the serve, which means she's used to seeing something way less faster than this, like 122, 24. That's what she's used to seeing coming at her. On average, I ain't even gonna get into it. I believe that it'd be Serena Williams at her peak versus the top male tennis player at their peak. Serena could score, definitely, 100%. But I don't believe she would win. And if we were to ask her, I think the competitor in her would say she would win. But, like, realistically, like...
absolutely obliterate any male tennis player on the right day. Just because one's male, one's female. Doesn't matter. It's like, recently you've had the lady who refused in the fencing. I'm sorry, but that's a completely gender-neutral sport. You'll have women and men go up against each other all the time. Women will win, men will win, youth will beat adult. So she takes a knee because she wants to make a political standpoint. She paid $5,000 by a right-wing Christian group because she made a standpoint. Sorry, she did that just for the financial gain.
With the UK now defining women by biological sex.
Yeah, what about boxing, though? That's wicked.
Transgender athletes may soon have to compete based on their birth sex. Just recently, the women's pool final in the UK was played out by 2 trans women, biologically male. It raised the question, had it gone too far?
He's a man, and we stand with living pictures.
With most men, is that we are a threat to their masculinity. They don't like us because we've rejected the masculine side and going towards our female side. Now, you can imagine, if I walked into a bathroom looking like this, a men's toilets looking like this, I'm just asking for trouble. You know, it only takes one obnoxious idiot to dislike what I'm doing or what.
What if a woman did that though?
A woman wouldn't do it. End of. So why should I? So I've just used the.
I've seen women walk into male bathrooms to use the bathroom and not care.
Female toilets down at Waterloo Station. None of the women batted an eyelid when I walked in there. I've got no problem with going in the ladies' toilets. They've got no problem with me going in there. So I am not going to stop going in there. Unless one person...
If my kid is there, then I will have an issue. But if there's a family bathroom there, hey, I don't care.
So one woman in that toilet turns around to me and says...
Because I don't feel like explaining. Today was not the day that I wanted to explain what was going on. You know what I'm saying? And that's the only reason why I would have an issue. Like, oh my God. Okay, let me try to explain. Because I don't even know.
Could you use another toilet? In which case I'll come out and I'll wait till she's done and I'll go back in there and say, anyone else object to me using the lid?
I want discrimination rights, you know what I mean? Like, everyone else has discrimination rights. A gay guy can be a gay guy and be protected by that. Like, now we're kind of all legally gay men again. Like, isn't that crazy?
When trans kids are...
Will be protected by it, right? I don't know. This person, I don't know. They this got to be just a little comedy input.
We're kind of all legally gay men again. Like, isn't that crazy?
When trans kids are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. When trans kids are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back.
Oh, got the police. Oh, what's going on there? So I believe the protest is starting to move now. You see, you got a couple of trans flags over here. People are going to stay here, but some are also moving. A lot of people have told me that this kind of new law, or change in law, whatever you want to call it, will make it more difficult to identify who is a woman. But if you just look around, I think it has been quite easy to tell who is who. I don't really see the confusion that they are talking about, but let's keep it going. Let's see what people have to say. So an all-toast to Azkaban. Hey mate, just documenting the event here. I like your sign. What does it say? I love being with my mother's daughter. So what's the reason for coming today?
It's a lovely day.
How do you feel about the new law that now women means female, biological female?
I saw the poster up in Oscars Women. It's not going to stop me doing anything.
Heard so much about you guys. Does it affect you before going into women's spaces, or does it bother you now that you have to go into a male space?
No. Yeah, I didn't know when. So I'm gonna. My life is going to continue as normal. Thank you.
Cool.
Have a good day.
No worries.
Like that output. My life gonna continue as normal. Hey, I ain't even mad at it. So mine is too. Everybody's really is. I mean,
so
the only time this is ever gonna be an issue is when there's that one person taking it too far and who's willing to call the police. On the regular basis, no one's gonna care. Still, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, guys, as you can tell, that man doesn't really care if he goes into a women's space or male space. It's what it is.
I think it's disgusting that trans women aren't being seen as real women. We go through the exact same thing that cis women do.
Who created that? I swear this is my first time ever hearing the cis thing. When was that made? Okay. No, it's educating me because I can like go up and like have a conversation. If it happens to go that type of the way.
Reason is, as an intersex person of trans experience, where do you...
Excuse me? A what? I don't get it. Say it again, ma'am. I'm gonna be respectful. Say it again, ma'am.
My other reason is, as an intersex person of trans experience... Where do you place me in the bathroom? I don't, like I was born with different characteristics to an average trans woman. Where would you place me?
Yeah.
Are you going to put trans men in women's bathrooms? Is that what they want? It doesn't make any sense to me.
But by law, I think that's what's going to happen now, isn't it? I mean, what
What is the interest? What is that? What did she say she was? I don't even. I'm lost at what.
And to do.
What is this person's experience?
What do I plan to do? I plan
within the community
to piss wherever I want, which is the women's bathroom, and I will continue to.
Yeah. Do you think it's just down to bathrooms though? I mean, it could be other.
It's not just down to bathrooms, but I think bathrooms is the majority. The TERF's vote is bathrooms. I think that is the sacred space. It's crazy boots.
Well, one argument is that to do with actually women giving birth, and say if they ask for a female doctor, they could have a trans woman doctor. Do you think?
Is the doctor certified? Yes, they are. Does it matter? No, it doesn't.
To
is your baby going to come out? Yes, it's fine.
Well, yeah, of course.
Healthy baby, it's totally fine.
Yeah, I think it's more for the women's like preference, I guess.
I mean, great if you want to specify.
I've heard stories about people asking for non-African American doctors in America, at least. If it's a doctor, I don't really care. It depends what I got going on, but like I wouldn't care. If I had a cough and any doctor walked in, I don't care as long as you got a degree. You know what I'm saying? And you got 4.5 stars minimum on Yelp, I'm good.
And say I want a cis doctor, then do that. But if you say I want a woman doctor, if a trans woman comes in, don't act mad. Yeah, also like
2025 is the first time I've ever heard the term cis, so I wouldn't even have known that.
Come on, let's be honest, like everyone who has been in the NHS, people in the NHS are absolute heroes. No one is out to get you, you know. Trans people make up less than 0.5% of our population.
We have a lady writing on the bus.
Isn't that breaking the law? What is that? What is that called? You can't do that, that's illegal.
After being reassured women have nothing to worry about, I spoke with someone who worked for the NHS. I mean, the big argument against trans people was that case, I think it was in Darlington, where the women had to get changed in the cupboard. How do you feel about women's spaces and trans spaces? Do you think they should be allowed in them?
I mean, I think it's really strange because it's been happening for years and 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 years. And there weren't any issues when people didn't know people were trans, whereas now that we're talking about it, people have issues. What I find really strange is people aren't talking about the amount of cisgender women harassing trans women in these spaces. It's becoming a bit of a problem, actually.
So by that you mean like biological females?
People who don't identify as trans.
Okay.
There's been a lot of situations with this. I'm sure you've heard about what happened up in Fife.
Go on.
Yeah, so a young lady didn't like that there was a trans woman in the changing rooms with her.
Okay.
So.
Post-op or pre-op? Listen, this is a little bit too complex for my mind.
She decided to start harassing her colleagues, and obviously that's not really on.
Yeah, harassment is crazy, but
obviously we don't want that. But I guess now,
no, we don't want
by
that.
definition, there's a law now, I guess, to say that they're not allowed.
Is that what has been perceived?
I think that's the argument now, isn't it?
I think that's where the confusion is. I think that's why a lot of people have come out today, because that's not the case, is it?
Yeah. So what's your interpretation of it?
I think my interpretation of it is that applies to that part of the Equality Act, which is actually referring to women with wombs, I believe. But obviously it depends on what kind of media you want to read or whether you want to read the actual transcripts itself.
So if you like having a womb doesn't define being a woman, basically?
I think it's difficult to understand when it comes to fertility care and maternity care. Okay. Obviously it's relevant to people who are that. As someone who works for the NHS, I find it really uncomfortable when people say only women, because
big crowds.
I find it a little bit worrying, because I've looked after lots of people who are 9 years old and pregnant, and we don't want to call them women.
9 years
horrible,
old,
isn't it?
They're 9 and pregnant?
Yeah, it happens, and that's why
it do happen.
When you start saying women, you're really throwing out a lot of people who that really doesn't apply to.
Sure. So do you think having a penis makes you less of a woman?
I don't think so. No.
Good question.
No, I don't think that those kind of things affect how you kind of exist in the world, really. I think there's certain things that affect certain people, but as soon as you start painting things with a kind of tar brush of this equals this, you start ignoring the nuance of our lives and our biology as well.
Yeah, I mean, if some people don't understand it, how can you explain it to everyone so everyone has like a...
It's really tough. It is really tough. A woman without breasts is still a woman. So this is affecting not just transgender people, it's affecting everyone. And it really hurts me to see this because I'm watching
Bro got this neck gripped crazy.
Children be called women. I'm watching women choose to not undergo life-saving mastectomies because they're worried that, if I don't have breasts, I'm going to be less of a woman. That's not the case.
The longer the protest went on,
If I don't have breasts, I'm going to be less of a woman. That's not the case.
The longer the protest went on, the further I felt from finding out what a woman is. As you can hear behind me, a lot of the people are saying trans rights are human rights. Obviously, all the people here have the same rights as a biological man. Or
if I'm being fair, I came in here seeking knowledge, and thus far I learned some things, but like for the majority part, I'm confused.
A biological women, depending on their sex, but they feel they have their own rights, which aren't being listened to, or they don't have any. I have no idea, to be honest. So we just entered this park, and I think this is where the protest is going to come to a standstill. So they've said that trans people make up about 1% of the population, but it seems like everyone who's in their community is actually here today. As you can see, it's pretty much filled this part of this park.
Must remember that the fight for trans rights is one and the same as the fight for a free Palestine.
And that's where you lost me. It is not the same. That fight is not the same. It is not the same. There's no deaths. There's not millions of people, hundreds of thousands of people, and there's no. Oh my God! Please don't compare that struggle to any struggle. Just y'all got your own struggle going on. Okay, understood. But it's not the same. Oh no. See, I told y'all earlier in the video, that's where I get lost. Statements like that, you lose me. I understand. Struggle equals class struggle. I don't know.
For free healthcare for all, for decent housing. Our rights can only be secured by the defeat of the British capitalist state through socialist revolution.
I really can't hear nothing else after I heard that though. Like, okay, let me get back.
This is proven daily by socialist.
Don't get me wrong; they do have a struggle, depending on what lens you're looking from. But I don't rock with that just statement right there. That was
Cuba, where trans liberation is.
I hope y'all didn't see my butt when I got up, but this is
no slogan, but an active process.
So the lady behind me wants Britain to be like Cuba, a communist state, and apparently everyone here agrees with it. Very interesting.
From migrants beaten and starved at the borders.
So I see a sign, trans rights or human rights.
Yep.
What's the reason behind the sign?
I mean, it's self-evident, it's so obvious. We're not just talking about rights for trans women here, we're talking about rights for cis women as well, non-binary people. Everyone who doesn't conform really is going to be harmed by the Supreme Court ruling.
I identify as a woman, and so if someone were to tell me, oh, well, then use the men's bathroom.
Right.
That's very disrespectful.
Right, so yeah, what do you say to those people who say, yeah, use the men's bathroom?
Well, no.
They're going to stop me using the toilets that I feel comfortable in. This is like a tiny little stone at the top, rolling down and starting a possible avalanche.
Right. You said you go into women's spaces because you feel comfortable. What if that is at the expense of women who feel uncomfortable?
So women who feel uncomfortable with trans women are in the vast minority.
Okay.
The majority of women say they do not feel uncomfortable with trans women, but they do feel uncomfortable with like cis men. The rates of sort of violence against women by trans women is the same as it is for women versus women. We are not men. We're just not like that.
I'm a woman. I don't exactly present myself in a masculine way. This isn't a drag act or anything. This is who I am.
Yeah.
I don't do it for the lull of it. I do it because I hate being perceived as a man.
Sure. So how do you make sure that you are a woman? And
I think it's just like a small percentage of like I said earlier, it's that small percentage that ruined it. The small percentage of cis men who go around putting on wigs and pretending to be a part of this particular community so they can gain access and be weirdos in women's bathrooms. That's probably what really they want to stop. And y'all catching strays. Like I said, man, if I see if I seen a woman who was a trans man in the bathroom, or if I seen a woman or if I seen a man who was a trans woman in a male bathroom, I wouldn't care. I'm being real. If my kid was there, like I probably would have a problem, because I have a problem with anybody's in the bathroom, because I'm a male, I'm a single father, and I take my daughter into the bathroom. So but if there's a family bathroom, hey, do you? I don't care.
You're not perceived.
I'm cool.
Don't
bother me.
What makes you the woman that you identify as?
Don't cancel me. I'm just trying to understand, y'all.
Just the way I present myself. I began my transition in 2021.
Okay.
And I've been presented female ever then, so it was a change in styles mainly. I grew my hair out and things like that.
So does it come to the clothing and style of hair at the end of the day?
That's not all of what makes a woman. A woman can be anything. Sure. There are so many different ways you can present yourself, but I don't see how I particularly am portraying myself as a man to the people who may believe in systemic binaries.
So for you, you're doing as much as you...
Systemic binaries. Hey Siri. What's systemic binaries?
In simplest terms, something described as systemic is part of, or is embedded in, the system itself. It refers to the entire system or organization as a whole, rather than just a specific part of it.
Copy.
You can to present yourself as a woman and be a woman, so therefore you are a woman.
Because that makes me feel happy.
But what makes you not a man, if someone was going to argue that?
What makes me not a man is the fact that I'm a trans woman. I have always been a trans woman. It's not something I sort of decided one day that I was going to be. It was something that I came to.
So 2021, that last person, they decided that on that date that's what they wanted to do. So what makes it different? That's the thing. Is it just like a case by case thing?
I came to understand about myself. It's always been the way that I have been.
But why trans before the women? Why not just women?
Because there has to be some delineation. Don't get me wrong. I understand where my biology started.
Okay.
And my gender is not in my biology. My gender is here in my head. It's in my personality. It's in my person. It's immutable. I can't change my gender. That's why I had to transition, because my dysphoria between where my gender is, where it is in my head, and the rest of me was totally different.
I am just a woman at the end of the day, but yes, I am a trans woman as well.
Right, so if you had to go into a male bathroom now, or a male space now, how would that make you feel?
I wouldn't, because I'm not a man.
Okay.
If someone told...
But in the UK, if they would call the police on you, you'd be arrested. Now... So every time you do that, you're running the risk of breaking the law and being prosecuted. Is that what's happening? Question mark.
told me to, I would, like, I'd just leave.
You just leave, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because that's a space where they don't accept people like.
That's acceptable. Like, I hear you. Like, if I'm not wanted somewhere, I'm not going to be there. I'm just going to simply leave. That's a good attitude because I'm on the same thing. If I'm not accepted in the space and if I don't feel wanted and you make it clear, like, and I can feel the vibe, all right, I'm just gone. Simple as that.
Like me, so why should I accept them?
Well, some countries have labelled gender dysphoria as a mental illness. Would you support that?
Well, yeah, some countries have, but then again, some countries still stigmatise gay people. You know, just because a country says it doesn't make it right. And yes, absolutely, for a long time it was considered a mental illness to be transgender, but then again, we moved on. We understood it better. You know, there were empirical studies, there were... You know,
I'm just going biblically at the end of the day. In the beginning, it was man, and there was man was with you know what it say.
You know, lots of trials about this. No one comes to this and goes, "Oh yeah, one day I'm just going to do this." It took me.
That's what the person before you said, though. And I feel like at the end of the day, it can't be on a case by case study. It got to be like broad. I don't know, man. I might stay quiet for the rest of the video.
10 years of my life to go from the start to the finish.
Right.
That's A, not a phase, and B, it's not something I do unseriously. It is a huge part of who I am, and I don't do it for anybody else.
Sure.
This is not for other people, other trans people, whatever. This is me. This is for me and myself only.
So now that you've transitioned, can you give birth?
Wesley is wildin'. Oh, it's really wildin' out here.
No, I can't give birth.
Okay.
Not yet. No,
Okay.
That might be coming. They had
this technology.
First baby of a transplanted womb recently. Who knows where that's going to take us? My experience.
Wait, what happened? Baby girl, first time UK born from a womb transplant. Okay.
Baby of a transplanted womb recently. Who knows where that's going to take us? My experience of transitioning and realizing started 12 years ago or 13 years ago, but it took me a very long time before I started going, okay, this is the rest of my life.
But how do you know you're a woman now?
I know.
But is there something specific you have to look for, or is there a certain moment something happened?
There is no one way to be a woman. There is, look at all the people here and tell me, that if there are any cis women specifically who go, okay, fair enough, that is a woman and this one is not, or something along those lines. It's not a specific thing. My womanhood is how I feel. It's how I identify. Okay, fair enough. I identify as that, but that's who I am. I am not a man.
Sure. So having a penis doesn't make you less of a woman?
No, it doesn't. And and not having a penis doesn't make you any less of a man.
Right.
So, no.
So could I become a woman if I felt like becoming one like tomorrow?
No.
But you can become one, why can't I?
Because this isn't a case of making a decision to be... sorry, let me clarify that. This isn't a case of anyone making a decision to be.
Yeah.
There are sort of trans women, I put them in sort of like inverted commas, who go, no, I'm just a man in a dress. No, they're not trans women. They are men in dresses living their lives as women. Fine. If they want to do that, that's fine. But they are the tiniest minority.
But what if I say I'm not a man?
See, and that's where that's what I'm saying. See, it's a lot of like layers to peel back. It's a lot of, you know what I'm saying?
In a dress, and I wear a dress and put on makeup. When does it come a point to say I am a woman?
So that person that this person just described, a man in a dress, okay, are they allowed to use the woman, a cis woman bathroom?
Well, it's got to be earnestly done. If you did it tomorrow and then decided not to be further down the line, like, it's a good faith or a bad faith thing to do. If you decided it tomorrow, there needs to be a bloody good reason why you were choosing to do that. And I don't mean like a bad faith one or sort of like one that is dangerous or criminal.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't do any of that sort of stuff. I just I had to find myself, and like I said, I did this for me. I didn't do this for any reasons. I just did it for me.
Well, what if I said this conversation between me and you inspired me to become a woman? Would that be enough reason to do so?
Yeah, it would have to be a very good sort of like feeling for yourself.
In the end, who told you are a woman in the end? Because, like you said, you have to go through with it and you have to be dedicated to it. So
therapy, and a therapist suggested I try the label.
Okay.
And given that at that point I identified as a transvestite plus, which as far as I was concerned was a transvestite, but it was more than the clothes. When
plus, what is this? Subscription tiers? What do we? What? That's a thing. I'm telling you, I'm so ignorant to all of this. This is all new to me. Y'all, I don't want y'all to hate me. Shout out to the community once again, but I'm just trying to understand all of these terms. This is plus? What is it, PlayStation?
And they suggested that to me. It made a lot of sense.
So at the end of the day, to get clarification, like the seal of approval, it has to go through a therapist to become a woman.
Wesley.
I mean, that's a good idea.
Okay.
Like I said, this is ridiculously complex and very politicized and difficult medically. And
that is a good idea.
And psychologically, therapy is a very, very good idea to help you make a decision and to find yourself.
Yeah.
But at the same time, no one can tell you that sort of thing. You're gonna have to come to it on your own. And once again, it's not something you can, like, one day just go, having never thought about it previously, just go, ding. No one does that. Well, I've never met anybody who's done that.
But I still don't get it. How do you know, like, in the end, like, how do you know you've come to the point that it's womanhood or I'm a woman?
How do you know you've matured from being a boy to a man?
Puberty.
How do you know that you've,
not puberty plus a few other things.
Changed one stage of your life and reached another.
Sure.
You know, these things aren't arbitrary. These aren't defined in that particular sort of way.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, it would be lovely if it were. It would be so much easier. This could be so much more easily proved.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if you look at where we are and what sort of effect we have on the world, essentially, we are the tiniest proportion. We are not a menace. We aren't a danger to anybody, except possibly ourselves occasionally. And yet we are treated like criminals. We are treated like dangerous people when the facts literally do not.
I would say that's a stretch. Like criminals and dangerous people. Maybe that's how y'all feel that y'all are treated, but I don't know. I just, me personally, it's just I keep like going back to how I feel. Like I don't care. I told y'all the only situation I would say anything in is that, or like, the school thing. That'll blow me too, but because that's something that I have to have. That's for me to discuss with my child,
They don't support that theory. You can't just throw that accusation at us and legislate us out of existence just because you had a bad feeling. That's bullshit.
So that was quite a long conversation with that trans woman man. Still don't understand how you actually become a woman. He said I can't become a woman, so I don't know who told him he can become a woman. Still don't get it. Apparently you have to dedicate your life to it. You can't just decide overnight. I don't know if there's a woman god who summons everyone to become a woman, but yeah, apparently not. Therapist is one argument he made.
So you saying like a GAY person? Wait, dang, hold on. Yeah, a GAY male can't just wake up and decide like, all right, I want to completely do it. That's not his tier, huh?
Mentioned, yeah, very
question mark.
Very complicated, guys. The argument is that, you know, women's spaces should be female only. What's your argument to say that trans women should be in their spaces too?
Okay. If you switch around, so if you want female spaces and biological females, then trans men are going to come in your spaces.
Yeah.
You're going to think, oh, trans men are going to do nothing. But have you seen trans men?
I have, like, even here today, they're like the proportion.
Like, you're going to let trans men come into your spaces.
But the proportion today have been trans women. Like, I'd like to see the stats on like the different, like the you know, how many are trans women, how many are trans men.
Yeah.
It seems like you don't see that many. Would you say that?
Sorry?
It seems like you don't see that many trans men. Would you say that?
I've seen there's many trans men. I've come across like a lot of trans men here.
Yeah.
I mean,
I haven't seen any in this video, in particularly.
Like we're all like here together. Like there's a group called Boys Against Boys for Dolls.
Boys for Dolls. Okay.
You, I know you. You, I know you. Nah, bye. Bye.
Okay, Jesus Christ. So I know you.
What Wesley do?
Yeah. And walks off. But yeah, no idea what half these people are banging on about today. Well, some guys on the drums. People are doing all sorts of stuff. Maybe she identifies as a bird. So basically this was just a protest, a trans protest against the law that now women means female. Obviously we've seen so many cases in the UK where people have been suspended from their jobs. I know there was a case with the NHS worker who...
This is 56 minutes long I've been here? 36-minute video, we have 56...
was suspended by calling a trans...
I had that much opinion?
...woman a mister. I mean, how far was it going to go? But now, with these laws, people can have a bit of common sense and just say what they think. Don't steal our rights. So, yeah, that's been the kind of message today, how people are feeling. They feel their rights are being taken, even though they have the same rights as their biological sex. Yeah, so yeah, make it make sense. At this point, I was actually done filming for the day. Here I am literally filming a tree, a sign on the tree, but some people had a problem with that. You know, mate? What? So have you got a problem with me standing here? Just walking around in a public park? I don't think they had anything better to
Bro, wrap a flag around his neck and think he a superhero all of a sudden.
Do, or they just thought they were superheroes with these flags. Even when I decide to sit down, they still follow me.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Yeah.
So it was circle time. Understand that you can go somewhere else if you don't want to be filming me.
There you go.
Oh, you guys have COVID?
Got a little peek hole there for you.
There we go, mate. So see ya.
I wouldn't get. He's a nasty man. Okay.
Oh, okay. So you know I'm a man?
He's a fascist.
Oh, they didn't discover it about your old videos.
Oh, okay, yeah. Hi guys, so apparently I'm a fascist according to these guys here. Let me know in the comments, do you think it's normal to just follow someone around the park who you'd... Let me know in the
That sign.
Comments, do you think it's normal to just follow someone around the park who you've never met or spoken to? So you guys my new mates? 4 new best friends?
Boy, ain't no way. I'm not tolerant. This, man. I don't know if I can tolerate this type of behavior. I'd be too bothered at this point. Because I got like PTSD and I don't like this. Don't surround me because then I'm using reasonable force. I thought she was about to jump me. I've been jumped. I've been in fights 4v1, multiple. Like I can't do that. I thought y'all was gonna kick off. That's what y'all would say.
There we go, guys. Let's talk to Jesus. There we go. That might help. Come on. Come on, guys, let's talk to you. Let's be kind. It's Easter weekend. I love one, mate. Thank you. Alright, guys, so I'm getting walked out of the... There we go, mate. There we go, guys. I'm getting walked out of the trans rights activist protest. These guys are following me all the way around. It's Easter weekend. People, promoting Christianity, but these guys don't want to listen. Left and right, health and safety. And they even continued to stalk me outside of the park. This is completely normal behaviour. Where you going, mate? Mate, I want to take a picture of all my mates. Nice portrait. Oh, hey, 1-0, 1-0. Where you going, mate? Come on, 1-0. Where you going, mate? Come on.
I will hit
upside down. Yeah, try it, mate.
Can't this be like seen as them provoking him though? Are they trying to read us the sign?
I'm actually confused. Are you actually with them? Or?
No, they just want to follow me around. Yeah, okay. They just can't get enough of me today.
Okay. How long has it been going for?
For past 20 minutes, I'd say. Let's have a look. Yeah, past 15-20 minutes.
Do you guys want to talk to me? I mean, I know you say you don't want to talk to cops, but do you want to have a chat? Or no? Okay.
We worked up a full sweat trying to chase Wesley.
I'm a bit concerned, thinking, what's going on? Why this guy's of interest to you? Oh, that's fine. Let me do the favour as well. That's fine. It's 3319 Charlie Oscar. It's fine. You can take your videos. You can take your pictures. I'll take your video as well. So we all take videos of each other. So yeah, I'm just trying to work out what's going on here.
Nah, Wesley be having some strange interactions, 100%.
Why are they following you around particularly, mate?
I was just asking questions today, and then they just randomly came up to me, and I don't know why. Maybe they got something against me. They just want to follow me about. Yeah.
Sorry, say that again, sir? Oh, sorry, actually, I think about how come to it?
So I was just walking down this public pathway. They decided to sign. I don't know. I mean, have I done anything wrong to you guys? Okay.
By this point, I believe you can walk on.
A weird transaction.
Well, guys, I spent some time at the trans rights activist protest. Obviously, everyone we spoke to wasn't too happy, and if you have opposing views, they'll call you a Nazi and a fascist. This is the aftermath of the protest. We've got graffiti on here, trans rights are human rights. He agrees. So now it's law here in the UK that woman means female. Obviously, the majority of people knew that already. Obviously, some don't, but then that was a clarification in the law. So this was London. This was a trans rights protest. I'll see you for the next one.
They can still identify as what you want. Man, dog, cat, woman.
Do what you want. Yeah, just don't go in the space if you're not. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, look, fuck Trump. What's he got to do with it?
No idea. You get called a Nazi, a fascist, doesn't matter what.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate. Alright, guys, let's wrap it up here.
This has been a great experience for me. I've learned some things. I'm still very confused on some of the terminology. If anybody wants to further educate me, feel free in the comment section, because